Hey guys, it's Stephen here, back with another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all surviving and staying healthy and staying indoors where you can. But today we're going to talk about football a little bit. And also, I want to say thank you once again. The Athletic have come through and they're supporting me for this month. I'm very excited to be once again working alongside the Athletic, the new home of football writing, with all the best football coverage and Manchester City coverage that you'll find during this COVID-19 crisis. So you can go and enjoy the work of a world-class team of writers, including the likes of David Ornstein, who's done this article today that we're going to be talking about, the likes of Michael Cox, Jack Pitbuck, Rafa Honigstein, and our very own Sam Lee, of course, and loads more. And you can get 50% off right now your subscription at theathletic.co.uk/esteemed company. A 7-day free trial as well. Thank you very much to The Athletic for supporting this channel. Honestly, they're absolutely heroic right now. You can go and do that right now. We're going to talk about an article which is huge news if potentially true. Huge if true, as they say it on Twitter. David Ornstein, who's a fantastic writer and very much in the know, has been chatting away to the PFA. And according to the PFA, the players are very realistic about finishing the season behind closed doors. Now, there's no timescale for this, but this is a big shout. It's an absolutely huge shout. I'll run through the initial bullet points, which you can see on screen now. I'll go through one by one. The initial reluctance of players to compete behind closed doors has shifted. Football has a responsibility to help try and lift the nation at a time of global crisis. Negotiations will be held over players' salary deferrals, and the PFA's 55 million cash reserves will be made available for members experiencing hardship, and a 24-hour well-being hotline is among the other provisions to help support players in need. Basically, the PFA guy, who was it again? Let me just find out who it was. It was Bobby Barnes, an ex-player. He said, I think it's more of a case that there's no alternative at the moment, that players are realistic, and in an ideal world we would be playing in front of crowds, but we're not in an ideal world, and certainly the players I've spoken to accept that if it's going to be, that's what it'll have to be. Now, my initial approach is they're being totally and utterly optimistic here. I do not think this is going to happen, and I think they're being very, very negligent, and I think they're being very naive to all this. And I think largely it's based around money, let's be honest. It's all about money. And these quotes seem to hint towards that there's a bit of almost like salary blackmail there. I wouldn't go as far as saying that's actually true, but the fact that they're talking about salaries maybe being cut a little bit, but if it doesn't happen, if, you know, they play these games. So this is another quote here. It says, in order for us, the PFA, to be able to protect these players in terms of securing their salaries, the only thing we have on the table is to complete the season, and that's what it will be. To be fair, most players very much took that on board when we spoke to them. The players get it. They understand the alternative. The alternative, obviously, is being that they don't get their salaries. And basically, this is about TV money, let's be honest. Now, very much, for me, the idea that they can be healthy during this, that they can ensure that people don't get infected is absolute nonsense. Though they did say this, apparently. The article goes on to say, there's significant debate that has been focused on whether it's appropriate for footballers to train and perform in present circumstances, as well as the medical and resourcing implications. Barnes, though, is confident the quality of fitness professionals used by clubs heavily mitigates the danger of players suffering injuries, and said he has been privy to conversations in which assurances over levels of player care have been given. But it's not just about that, is it? It's not just about the players. Now, if you're going to train these players, that's a group of 20-odd athletes there that then will be in contact with a bunch of senior coaches. What about Brian Kidd? Who's looking after Brian Kidd if he gets it, you know? Genuinely, Brian Kidd is a coach. Guardiola is a coach as well. A lot of people who are more at risk in terms of the age groups, maybe not Guardiola, but Brian Kidd definitely is more at risk than some people. Now, the chances are they could be okay. But what about the people then who have to sit and open up the reception for the players? What about the physios? What about the people who have to do the catering then? What about when you go to these games and all the camera crew have to be there? I'm sorry, it's not just as simple as the players turning up to a game and playing it. There's the coach driver, there's the security outside the ground to make sure no fans try and get in. Then there's the temptation of fans to try and get there. It's socially and utterly irresponsible, in my opinion, to suggest that this could be done behind closed doors. And I know it's all based around money. Let's be honest, we all know the only reason I'm talking about this right now is because they want the TV deals to go. And then they're talking about the idea, and this is a quote, the prospect of squads being asked to take salary cuts in order to help employees navigate a period of major financial concern is an area under debate, according to Barnes, although this is more likely to happen in the Premier League than lower down the leagues. So basically they're saying, well, you know what, if you don't do these things, maybe you might have to take some pay cuts. They are basically blackmailing people through their contracts, you know, to play the games. The players didn't want to play behind closed doors, but I'm pretty certain if you start saying to people some of your salaries will go away, and even though the rate is still relative to their situation, then they're going to start changing their minds. I'm not having it at all. And I'm pretty certain if you spoke to most major football agents, those people are the ones that actually have the power. Speak to, Jorge Mendes, speak to Raiola, people like that. And I'm sorry, they are not going to let their players play because player power speaks more than anything. I'm sure the PFA have spoke to a few players who have been a little bit receptive and gone, yeah. But when the push comes to shove, they'll get home and they'll speak to their family and they'll go, don't you dare play. Don't you dare. Their wives and their partners and the loved ones will be saying, don't you dare play because then you can't see us for a certain period of time. I don't think this is happening and I think this is selfish. Though he did make a point about how it'd be good for the morale of the country at the moment to maybe see football back on TV again, but there's so much more to it than just that because it's irresponsible and it sends a message that actually everything is okay when it isn't okay. Now, I don't blame anyone for wanting football back, but the idea that players can just rock up and not affect anyone else is fucking nonsense. I'm sorry, it's absolute nonsensical and it's all based around money. I'm sorry, the only thing we accept at the moment is that football is paused and maybe this season is done. If it happens, it happens, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure here just based around money. It isn't common sense. La Liga has just suspended football entirely, indefinitely at the moment. Why is the Premier League any different? I just don't get the idea that you're not putting about 100 people at risk if you play a game. How many going to be there? About 25 players from both teams, well, more than that, 18 in the matchday squad. You're looking at about roughly just under 40. Then add on all the coaches together, coaches in terms of the support staff, the physios. You're looking at about maybe 60 there. Then the camera crews involved, then the people in security. You're looking at plus 100 people together working these games when they've been told to stay at home. It's just naive nonsense. Now, if it happens, I'd be very surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the government actually said, no, you can't do that. You can't actually do that. We don't know how it's going to get, but I'm sure if those deaths keep going up and up, then we won't be seeing this. It reeks to me of absolute desperation. Now, I know I'm saying this as someone who would benefit from this happening. Genuinely, personally, the idea of Manchester City playing games, I'll have videos, I'll get views again, My personal finance will be better off. But I still think this is absolute farcical. It's negligent to extreme levels. And even though some players may feel they've got no choice, I'm pretty certain they can't force them to do this. And to me, it's selfish because they have families too. You can't guarantee people's safety. You can't go, well, they'll probably be all right because they're young and healthy. We don't know this for certain. We already saw recently a story about a young semi-pro footballer in Northern Ireland who was on a ventilator and struggled to breathe for about 10 days. And he was pretty healthy. Not as healthy as some footballers in the Premier League, no. But still, he's a healthy guy. There's no guarantee that they're not at risk at all. And I hate this idea, all of a sudden, the PFA can dictate to these players. Do I want football back? Yes. But I want it back at the right time. And I want it back with the fans as well. I'm sorry, empty stadiums are not how football should be. It's soulless. It kills the mood of it. And this is not because I'm a Manchester City fan. I couldn't give a shit if Liverpool won the league tomorrow. It's seriously not that. It's because it's socially irresponsible to be putting that message out at the moment. I'm sorry, the idea that normality will be resumed by April the 30th is just farcical, unfortunately. I want it to be, but we can't be that naive. Now, maybe I'm being a bit too negative there, but I think I'm being realistic at the same time. It all seems to be based around money. I just can't get my head around the idea that the likes of Raiola, Mendes, Zahavi and people like that are going, yeah, go players, go and play. No, that will protect them. The PFA are very much an old-fashioned kind of, they haven't got the power they used to, put it that way. The clubs rule the roost now, and the big agents rule the roost. And even though they may nod along some of these players to the PFA, I'm not really having it. As the article said itself as well, this is what a quote from the PFA representative. Notwithstanding the world wars, this is probably the biggest crisis we've faced in our history, and the numbers are multiplying, but we have an obligation to do as much as we can to help our members in any case, in any way we can. Yeah, as you said, mate, you said yourself there, this is a World War-esque crisis, and I'm pretty certain football wasn't carrying on around then. Oh, it drives me mad when these execs get involved in this kind of thing and they think they can just throw money behind it. Like, it's ridiculous, it's farcical, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous for other people that will be involved. Your players will be fine, I'm sure they will be, but what about their families? What about the coaches? What about the people, the security guards outside the stadium? What about the people who have to go to the stadium and make this happen? What about the camera crews? I'm sorry, some things are a lot more important than a few football games. As much as I love football, this isn't going to happen, in my humble opinion. I want it to happen, of course, but this is clearly, utterly motivated by money. Anyway, what do you make of all that? I mean, it would be great, wouldn't it? It would be nice, and I do think there's an element of having football on TV would be nice for us all again. but we only want that for selfish reasons. It doesn't solve anything, and we have to be realistic. Guys, thank you for all the support. Go check out my new channel as well, my vlog channel, where I'm doing kind of daily updates. A lot of people have been very nice to me. I've suffered a little bit during this, and being honest, I feel better today for whatever reason. I do feel good today. Thank you to The Athletic for supporting this channel. athletic.co.uk/esteemed company. Go and get your 50% off now on your free trial. It's a fantastic source of writing. It'll be the best home of football, the best writing you'll find in football right about now. Go and sign up if you want to. And also thank you to my patrons. These guys are absolute heroes. I love you all loads. Football. I may not be back, but I'll continue making videos on this channel. I've got the energy now to make videos. I didn't for the last few days because it felt kind of trivial, but fingers crossed there'll be lots more content on this channel going forward. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for being wonderful. I'm going to do a watch along soon of the 6-1 United, the Man City 6-1 thing against United, which is infamous. It should be good. See you later, guys.